In the prehistoric era, communication took a rather rudimentary form. Imagine a time when our forebears were trying to make sense of the world around them. They began to convey their experiences, not through complex sentences, but through simple, direct expressions. In the vast, echoing caves of their dwellings, they etched out their stories. These early cave paintings were the first attempts at sharing experiences, encoding their world into symbols. But it wasn't just about painting pictures. They also found their voices, grunting, gesturing, and gradually forming rudimentary spoken languages. But why this urge to communicate? It was more than just a survival mechanism. From arranging a hunt to sharing a discovery, communication was the glue that held these early societies together. It was the crucible in which relationships were forged, stories were shared, and cultures were born. Our ancestors, despite their primitive tools, laid down the foundation for the complex languages we have today. Fast forward to the rise of civilizations, and we encounter the legendary tale of the Tower of Babel. This story, found in ancient texts, paints a vivid picture of our linguistic journey. It tells of a time when all of humanity spoke a single language, and together decided to build a tower that would reach the heavens. But their hubris did not sit well with the powers above. As punishment, their language was confounded, and they could no longer understand one another. This divine intervention, according to the tale, led to the scattering of people across the earth, each group taking with them a unique tongue. This tale can be seen as a metaphor for the natural diversification of languages over time. As societies grew and expanded, communication needs evolved, leading to the birth of various languages and dialects. This diversification, though initially a source of confusion, would eventually enrich human culture and history. Language, like a river, flows and changes course under the influence of various cultural factors. As people moved, traded, and conquered, they carried with them more than just goods or armies. They brought their words, their expressions, their way of seeing the world. Consider the bustling trade routes of the Silk Road, where countless languages mingled and interwove. The word orange, for instance, made its way into English through a fascinating journey. Originating from the Sanskrit word naranga, it traveled through Persian, Arabic, and Spanish before reaching English shores. Or think of the Age of Exploration, where European seafarers spread their languages to distant lands, forever transforming the linguistic landscapes of the Americas, Africa, and Asia. Words like tomato from Nahuatl or potato from Quechua entered the English lexicon through these encounters. The ebb and flow of civilizations thus left indelible marks on our languages. Despite the apparent diversity, languages often share common ancestors. Picture a tree, with each branch representing a language family, and the smaller branches, or twigs if you will, symbolizing individual languages. Just as a tree grows and diversifies, so too does language. This is the crux of the language family concept. Imagine English, German, and Dutch are all part of the same Germanic family, branching off from a common Indo-European root. Even more intriguing, Persian, spoken in Iran, shares this same Indo-European root with English, despite the vast geographical and cultural differences. Over time, languages evolve, influenced by various factors, and new branches form, creating a complex tapestry of interconnected linguistic families. Studying these families and their evolutions allows us to trace the human journey, capturing our shared history and culture. These linguistic connections, often surprising, reveal how interconnected our world truly is. The advent of the written word marked a revolutionary leap in human communication. This innovation was not merely an afterthought but a necessity born out of the human desire for permanence and precision. In the beginning, we had pictorial representations like hieroglyphs, where symbols represented words or concepts. These early scripts were the first step in recording our thoughts, our stories, our histories. As societies grew more complex, so did our need for more sophisticated systems of writing. Cue the invention of alphabets, a turning point in the history of written communication. Alphabets, unlike pictorial scripts, were based on sound, a system where each symbol represented a spoken sound. This was a game changer. It allowed for greater accuracy, flexibility, and the ability to capture the nuances of speech. Fast forward a few centuries, and we see the transition from handwritten texts to printed ones, thanks to the invention of the printing press. This sparked an explosion of knowledge sharing, bringing written words to the masses, and forever changing the course of human history. In the digital age, we've seen another seismic shift. Handwritten and printed texts have given way to digital texts, From emails and blogs to tweets and texts, the digital revolution has injected speed and immediacy into our written communication. Writing, in its many forms, has not only preserved languages, but has also allowed them to evolve and adapt. In the digital age, languages continue to evolve at an unprecedented pace. As we navigate through the 21st century, our forms of communication are constantly adapting to new technologies. Text messages, emails, social media, these platforms have all given birth to a new linguistic landscape, one that's rapidly changing and filled with innovation. Consider the emergence of internet slang. It's a whole new dialect created as a response to the fast-paced, instant nature of online communication. LOL, BRB, OMG. These abbreviations and acronyms have become an integral part of our digital vocabulary, making communication quicker and more efficient. Then, there are emojis. What started as simple smiley faces have evolved into a vast array of symbols, each carrying its own meaning. Emojis are now a universal language of their own, transcending linguistic barriers and adding an emotional dimension to our online conversations. And let's not forget the influence of machine translation. Tools like Google Translate have made it possible for us to understand and communicate in languages that were once foreign to us. While these translations may not always be perfect, they are constantly improving, thanks to advancements in artificial intelligence and machine learning. The digital age, with all its novelties, is writing the latest chapter in the long history of language evolution.